What's up, y'all? It is another episode of the
Kiora.
podcast. My first psychedelic experience. Let's talk about it. So, I was in year 10. I was 15, anyway. I know that for sure. And my friend, let's call him G, had somehow gotten LSD, and I was super stoked about it. I had been reading up on it, thought I was so smart. I wanted to do LSD because other people had said that it is cool and it makes you changed from it, and for some reason I thought that was like really attractive, that you would be changed, spiritually or something, after, like, you're a new person after you trip, and I thought that was really sick. And that was one reason why, and the other reason why is because I wanted to tell other people that I tripped on it. I'd done LSD before, and that's a pretty bad reason to trip, to be honest. And I got whooped in the ass for it. So let's get on with it. So I take a tab of acid at school on a Wednesday, and let me just tell you about the weather. It was not the shittest weather I've ever seen, but the most boring weather. Honestly, bro, the fucking sky was like gray, matte gray from clouds. Like, it wasn't that it was about to rain, because then that would have like some sort of dramatic kind of like suspense or some shit to it. It wasn't like there was no holes in the clouds at all. It was just straight gloomy. That's a good word for it. Gloomy and like hazy, and like the light was just like blank, like bland, like so terrible. I have never seen the weather that like that since that day, however many years ago. 5 years? Holy shit, that's a long time. I wasn't thinking about the weather until after until I had taken the tab or whatever. Obviously, because I'm fucking pretty dumb, and it took actually quite an effect into it. That's why it took quite a little bit of an influence on how the trip ended badly, I guess. But we'll get to that. So I took the acid I took it in maths class. No shit, because I thought I was so sick. Oh man, I wish I had a phone back then to fucking take a photo of that shit on my mouth in maths class. That would be my fucking profile photo, bro. Like, that is such a flex. 15, little red face, curly hair with a fucking big acid tab on his tongue. Holy shit. Anyway, I took it about 10 minutes before the class ended, and left the class, met up with my friends that, like, this was like before lunchtime type of shit, like a few classes before lunchtime, so we were gonna like ditch school for that day, which I never usually do. I never usually did back then. But so I met up with my friends after class. They took their tabs. There was 3 friends with me. Let's say G, M, and S. G, M, S. MSG, let's just say that. MSG and me. So they took theirs 10 to 15 minutes after I had taken mine, and we walked along this highway back to one of the guy's house that I had never been to or whatever, but we walked along this golf course, and like I think people told us to fuck off or some shit, I don't know. Anyway, we walked across. I thought I was like coming up, which it wasn't. I was like 20 to 25 minutes in. I thought I was like, oh yeah, we're tripping, like, this is gonna be so fun, like, in the golf course, like, good vibes or whatever. Get to the guy's house, and I start fucking tripping it, like, before them too, which is a little bit whack. I would recommend that if you were to trip with people you trip at this exact same time, like just to save fuckery and like mind fuckery. Well, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so we're in his room and the fucking walls were not melting, but basically melting. Like his posters were sticking out from the wall with like 3D glow around them. All of the curtains were blowing in the wind, majestic as, even though the window was probably not open. They were playing a really annoying fucking game on the Xbox, like Forza, which they had like full volume, and like one of the guys like a few of them like drifting, or two of them like drifting, and like so they're trying to do that shit with like the oh my god, shut the fuck up, that's the most annoying noise, even when you're especially when you're tripping, oh my gosh. But anyway, it was fine because I was like having a lovely time. I thought that this was like what LSD was going to be, you know. I was like, yay, like euphoric type of shit, running through his corridor, like everything was like all like so white and clean anyway, and it was just super white and like airy, like I could see the air and shit. And then all of a sudden, fucking one of the guys that's house it was, he's like, oh, by the way, my mum is going to be home in like 10 minutes. And oh shit, yeah, 10 minutes or whatever. Okay, so that then triggered me that, oh shit, I had this like gold Rolex on. It was like fake, but it looked pretty legit, and it was gold with a white face, and I just remember that shit so clearly, and like it was just dripping on my wrist, like just, I could not tell the time at all, just dripping off my fucking wrist, like the face, and it was so fucking beautiful. But like I wish I could have just enjoyed it and not cared about actually telling the time, because like real life problems when you're tripping is whack. And okay, so I couldn't tell the time, and I had to catch my bus home. This is so fucking dumb, man. You have to plan out your trips, but let me just tell you the trip story before I get into like what I learned in this shit. Okay, so I had to catch the bus at, so I was trying to figure out, school finishes at 3:10 and my bus leaves about 20 minutes after that, so 3:30, and I could not fucking tell the time, and like, so I was just kind of guessing it, and I kind of got the time in my head that it was like about 3:15, and school was about half an hour walk away, so I had to I had to leave that house instantly, and his mom was coming home, and I would have just like fucking, I was pretty anxious about his mom coming home, so I left, and the other guys stayed there, and they were fucking like laughing at me leaving, like I was stressing it, and they were laughing at me leaving, which is pretty whack, you know. It wasn't the biggest issue at the time, but it kind of just like, you got to be around the right people. But actually one of the guys came with me, G came with me, and we walked back along this highway. We walked under this subway tunnel and up these steps towards a shopping center, and when we walked up the steps, I'm like, fuck, I'm like, we look fucked, and like someone was in a car like looking at us and shit, giving us like weird ass looks, but I don't see no threats, just a lot of people looking at me funny and shit. So he left me because his house was there, and I carried on walking up the highway to fucking back to my school, and this is where whack shit started happening. So I was totally in a trip, and like, well, first of all, this gangster type of person hit me up saying, did you see, like, he was wearing like red, and he's like, did you see something over there? I don't know what it was, but I'm like, nah, sorry man, like, sorry, nah, I didn't. And carried on walking, and it was like, there was like school kids walking towards me, like a few groups of them or whatever, and I was like half walking, half running down this like busy highway. Like there's like a lot of cars and traffic because it's fucking quite a big road, and it was quite slow traffic too. So everyone was looking at me outside the window, and in that town, it's very judgmental, anyway. And I was really feeling that. Like I was real like red face and stressing, looking at my watch every 3 seconds, like trying to tell the time, walk, trying to tell the time, walk, and like it was so fun. Oh, not fun actually. It was not fun, and I carried on walking, like crossed the road without knowing what the fuck the road rules or whatever are, like which way the cars are gonna come and shit. Like I just kind of guessed it, and I could have probably got hit by a car easily, but I made it to the school like car park, and I seen my 2 teachers getting into cars that I had ditched their classes that day to go trip acid, and one of them was further in the distance, and one of them was very close to me, and I had to walk past him, and he said, when I walked past, he said, "Have you been in a fight, Louis?" And I turned around and I said, "Yeah, nah." And, that was a perfect thing to say. Because if I said yes, he could have been worried about me being in a fight. If I said no, he'd be like, "Oh, he's on drugs," so he's like red faced, like sweating, nervous, all this shit. And so I just basically fucking shoulder blocked that shit with a "yeah, nah," and that was fire. Perfect thing to say. Carried on walking, and as I was walking to the bus stop, there's like these like bushes and trees that are on like this like path or whatever, and I swear I fucking seen a rabbit like like go past me. Like I just felt this like natural like Alice in Wonderland shit, and it would have been such a nice trip if I wasn't worried as fuck, which I was so worried. And like I got to the bus stop, there was some kids there, and my bus had obviously gone, and I'm like, I knew there was another bus going in that direction, so I tried to find someone that I knew, and no, I fucking knew no faces there. I knew no one. There's only one person I did know, and he is fucked. And so I pulled him out of his group, and I'm like, "Come talk to me. I need to talk to you." We go around this corner, and I say, "I just tripped acid. I'm fucking freaking out. Get me on the bus right now." And he's like he peeked around the corridor like to his friends, and he's like, "Yo guys, come check this guy out." Like, and I'm like, "Don't fucking tell your friends." And he was like genuinely scared, and like trying not to act scared of like what state I was in. And yeah, fuck you to him. And no, but he's like, "Okay, there's a bus coming right now." I'm not gonna say the name, but the name of the place. And I got on it. I was the last person to get on the bus, which was a whack feeling. Like everybody got on, and I was the last the last thing before the zip shut, kind of thing. Like it was pretty whack. But I managed to get a seat, sat down next to like this chick from like a younger school, a school below us, like the intermediate, and she was like I was like trying not to faint. Like I was like sitting there like so anxious and hot-headed, and like I was like trying not to faint, man. It was like whack. And the chick next to me was like this little brown girl, like so scared, with her like body up against the window, like looking at me out of the corner of her eye, like I could see it, like out of the corner of my eye. And it was whack. And the bus stopped for to fix the tire or some shit, and I like got up with my bags, like getting ready to get off, and I realized it wasn't the stop, so I like sat back down. That was whack. I finally got off the bus, and I was just like walking home, and I was stressing because my home I don't really have a space where I can just go and like not be disturbed by anybody at all. Like that's pretty fucking unrealistic. It's a bedroom with a fucking family and stuff that they were gonna come home soon, and I was just worried that they were gonna see me tripping and all this stuff. walking home, I got home, I'm thinking like, okay, what do I normally do when I get home from school? I go to the gym. So I got on the shitty ass fucking clothes and rode my shitty skateboard to the gym. And it was the worst fucking thing I've ever done, man. Ugh. Even thinking about it makes me sick. But I got to the gym and I'm like, I am not going in here, man. Fuck that. I was tripping shit, bro. And I fucking just went past the gym to like this like huge alleyway kind of thing, like these walls like in between like two quite big like retail stores or something, this little driveway, and like I fucking felt the presence of like a deer kind of vibes, like a Bambi character like behind me, and I'm like, nah, like, yeah, I don't know, it was whack. Well, actually, it would have been sick, but I was in a fucking stress mode. And I'm like, fuck it. I went back home, and my brother was home, and I just went up, my little brother, and I went and told him, hey, I did LSD, and I'm freaking out. Basically just said that, and he didn't freak out. He was like, fuck, man, you're dumb. Go have a shower, or drink some water. He got me some water. Very nice brother. And I went and had a shower, and when I got out, I went and had a shower because I heard the garage door open, and my dad was coming home. Oh, the biggest fucking scary moment was about to happen, so I hopped in the shower. Then when I got out of the shower, like the door was still shut or whatever, and my dad is like, Louis, we're going out, me and your mom are going out for dinner or some shit. What do you want for dinner with your like fish? Do you want potatoes or pasta? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, potato or pasta? And I'm like, yes. And fucking I just probably said one, but then he's like, okay, we're going to see you. And I'm like, fuck, bro, that's amazing that I didn't have to sit with them or see them, like, when I was in that state, because shit would have been very awkward. I mean, it probably would have been nice to just get it off my chest and say it from the start, but I mean, I was like 15, and like, it wasn't really for a spiritual purpose, and I'm glad that I didn't see them like that, because that was not a nice state that I was in. And then I just basically went on Facebook the whole night telling everybody that I fucking was like ruined my life or some shit. Yeah, that's whack. And I was seeing like hieroglyphics on the carpet. That was fire. That was fucking fire. Yeah. And I basically woke up the next day. I woke up the next day and everything was normal again. And I like was messaging the guys like, yo, how was your trip? Because I didn't see them for it, and like they didn't reply. They were obviously busy. And I had heard that one of the guys, like, he went home and just cleaned the fuck out of his room. Like, that's pretty dope. And the other guy, I think, just like played Forza the whole night, which is fucked. But it's more normal than my trip. Wish I just relaxed day. So, what I learned from that, I learned that who you trip with is very important. I learned that where you trip is very important. And I learned that confessing that you have done something feels very good to get off your chest. And then also doing a full tab for your first trip is not a good idea. I think you should do about half or quarter in a very good place, which could be a mental place, but also but most importantly, environment. Like, you should be in a forest when you're tripping. You can be, like, for LSD, it's good to be in, well, for shrooms it's good to be in a forest, because you don't want to be in a domestic environment such as a house on a natural psychedelic like shrooms. But LSD, on the other hand, it is alright, I think, to be inside of a domestic environment such as a house, because the drug itself is more artificially concocted. But I think it's still best bet to do it in the forest, in nature, at the beach, you know, just so you don't go insane, because you can very easily go insane on these substances. And also another thing that I did do, which is quite funny, I didn't do, that dinner that my dad was talking about when I was tripping and supposed to eat it. It was like the most bland food I'd ever seen. The plate had just been like tossed at me, like they could just thrown shit on it. Like, that's so ungrateful. I should just be grateful that I have a plate in front of me. I know that, but at the time, it was like, it like needed sauce or some shit. It definitely needed sauce. But it's all good, I got the sauce now, so it's all good. That was my first ever trip story. Bad trip, highway trip. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Let me know below what you think, and if you've ever had any bad trips on a highway, let me fucking know. Share with the world, because it's important that we educate everybody about these drugs, because they are coming in and they are going to be legal soon, I believe, especially with the uprising of weed. I think it's just going to make room for all other drugs to be legal, and I believe that they need to be fucking treated with respect, and that's something that I didn't do on that trip. I didn't treat that LSD with respect at all. I abused it, and it abused me. You know, you gotta be mindful with taking these drugs. You have to respect them, whether that be just either thinking about where you're doing it, or literally respecting them as in praying to them before you take them, like hands and knees praying to the drug, saying, please guide me in the right direction, please guide me to the light, and if you guide me through the darkness, please let me see the beauty in the darkness. Anyway, that got a bit too deep there for that story, because that's nothing to do with it. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Let me know below, and subscribe or don't subscribe. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video though. Yo, let me know below what you think about that story, and if you have any other stories, if you have any highway stories of your own, let me fucking know below. I will see you in the next one, motherfucker. Catch.